You know that it's a pretty funky year at the movies when must-see films like Superman Returns and X-Men The Last Stand are sort of yawned out of the multiplex, and no-budget comedies like Borat and Jackass 2, those are standing out as some of the year's best. Now, with little over a month to go in 2006, Hollywood had better get its act together, or maybe they just want me to stay home and play with my Wii, or the PS3, or the 360. You know what? Let's all go to the lobby and get ourselves some loop. Joining us tonight, USA Today film critic Scott Bowles and Attack of the Show's resident cinephile, FilmThreat.com's Chris Gore. That was a quite Japanese schoolgirl of you. You want to give me one more with the kiki? Kiki? There we go. All right. Let's get down to the movies. That's why we're here, not Chris's weird Japanese fetishes. Scott, people like their summer blockbusters. I understand that, but the holidays are when we really see the Oscar-worthy films. Tell me, the end of this year, 2006, are you excited? What's out there?
I'm really excited, and the audiences aren't going to show up. It's going to be one of those years again, it's happened for the past 2 or 3 years, where Hollywood and the small studios turn out these small films that are really good that nobody cares about. So it depends. If you're a film fan who likes something bleak, something dark, it's going to be a great year. If you want your popcorn entertainment, stay at home.
Yeah, what's the deal with that, Chris? It seems like there's a few good films coming out that seems to have a lot of industry buzz, but will anybody actually show up to the theaters for these films?
I don't think they will. I mean, I really think this looks like one of the worst holiday movie seasons in recent memory. There's no big tentpole movie. I mean, James Bond came out, that was great, but they might have waited for James Bond in December because there's nothing like a big Lord of the Rings or a big epic that we're looking forward to. A lot of these smaller, darker films, which I personally like, but nothing that you really want to see, not a big holiday movie.
Well, let's talk about The Fountain for a second. Now, here's something a whole family can gather around, right? I mean, now, this was a film that was announced back in 2002. This thing was supposed to be done. Scott, what happened with the production of this movie?
Warner Brothers just chickened out. I mean, for 4 years, they didn't know what to do with this film. They would fund it, and they would pull back their money. Darren Aronofsky was pulling his hair out to try to get this thing made, and we're lucky that he did. It's a really good film, but Warner Brothers' commercial instincts are going to be right because people don't know what to make of it, and they're probably not going to show up for it.
Well, critics themselves have been divided, Chris. I mean, what's the deal here? Is this one going to be worth the wait for fans of Aronofsky?
Well, just to add to what Scott was saying, part of the other problem, this is like an $80 million art film, you know, and it was originally supposed to star Brad Pitt, and him, not committing to it right away was part of the reason it had trouble. But
wait, but didn't he get through the first 40 pages of the script, and he broke down?
He was
really
openly weeping, and he called up Aronofsky, said, "I'm in. I will definitely do the film." But it just didn't happen for whatever reason. But Aronofsky was so frustrated, he actually put out through Vertigo Comics, took the screenplay and made it into a graphic novel. And what's interesting is critics have been divided about this film. They've loved it and they've hated it. They've laughed at it and they've been moved by it. This graphic novel actually explains a lot of what they're confused about. I would compare it a lot to 2001: A Space Odyssey by Stanley Kubrick.
All right, so it might be a little heady for the holiday season of moviegoers. Then,
yeah, like I said, it's more of an art film.
All right, Scott, let's go into a movie that I know you're really excited to see. Children of Men, which has had so little buzz, I think so little tracking going on online. What has you so excited about Children of Men?
It's the sleeper movie of the year. It's one of those films that Universal doesn't know how to publicize it. It's Alfonso Cuarón. It's part science fiction, part political commentary. It'll be out for about 2 weeks, so spend your holidays finding the film, going to see it before it's on video. It's one of those movies that I wish more people would turn out for, because then we would get the different kind of fare that we keep begging Hollywood to turn out. They're spending some money on movies like this and on the movie Chris was talking about, but if people don't show up, we're not going to see more of them.
Well, it's interesting. I was doing some research. I actually Googled for the first time the other day and found out why people aren't going to that. It's because everybody's excited for the new Rocky film coming at Christmas. Who doesn't want to see a new... Oh, Chris, really? You're smiling like you actually do want to see this. Do we really need another Rocky film?
I'm actually excited about it. It's been 16 years since we've seen a Rocky film, so the franchise has been away long enough that we kind of miss it. And also,
so now that Rocky's getting Social Security, now you want to see him back in the ring?
Well, obviously, I mean, look, Stallone's doing this for a paycheck. I think that's no secret. But it's fun to revisit it from the standpoint of, it's back to his roots. It's Rocky is an underdog story, an underdog that does good. And also, I just think it's fun. It's getting back to why we love Rocky to begin with.
I don't know, Scott, was anybody missing that Sylvester Stallone Rocky nostalgia?
The reason Rocky's an underdog story now is because he's a member of AARP. I mean, it's a great concept. The underdog story is a great concept, but I'm not sure he's the one who should be playing it. I mean, if he's duking it out in a nursing home, maybe, but it's become such a parody of itself. I don't see how this movie's going to work.
I'm an optimist. I actually am looking forward to Rocky. I think it's going to be fun.
All right, Chris, but you can only pick one. If you had to recommend to our audience right now the movie to see for this holiday season, what is it? Go.
The Fountain.
Fountain.
Rocky's a good second choice for fun.
Scott, what do you think?
Children of Men, no question.
All right, Don. I think it's going to be an interesting movie season. It'll be interesting, really, to see if anybody shows up. All right, thanks to Chris and Scott for keeping us in the loop. Now, when the fall rolls around, it's a dog pile at the box office. Of course, the studios, they're after the awards and the holiday crowds, and that's when they throw out the big guns. And I know a lot of you are going to be stuck going to the movies with your family members. Just please, don't go see something for the sake of passing time or it's because it's what grandma wanted to see. You go see bad movies, you're just going to keep getting them. But apparently, no one got the memo on Superman Returns.